Okay, everyone.
There's a pause there.
It is 6:32. I'm going to call this meeting of the Lawndale City Council to order. I'm going to ask the city clerk to give the roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Mayor Pro Tem Kearney.
Here.
Councilmember Cuevas. Here. Councilmember Suarez.
Present.
Councilmember Talavera.
Here.
Mayor Poland Miles.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. The ceremonial portion of our flag salute will be held by Mr. Pro Tem Pat Kearney, and will followed by a word of inspiration by Pastor Greg Gucci.
All right.
Yep.
Please rise. Little leaguers, parents, fathers, take your hats off, please. And place your hand over your heart and repeat along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father God, thank you so much for this day. We thank you for this wonderful city council and this lovely city of Lawndale. Thank you that it's your goodwill that cities are run and organized well. We pray for everyone up here, their families, their relationships, the work they have to do. And we thank you that the stability and the calmness and the niceness of this city is a reflection of all that they're doing now. So we pray you continue to bless the city, make it a peaceful, quiet place and a place for business and school kids and families, moms and dads to grow and flourish. Thank you for them. We do pray you bless them in their council tonight, the things they discuss, the work they do, and that it would be something that ultimately would glorify you and be peaceful for all of our South Bay area. So I ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Okay, let's have our public safety report. Let's hear from our captain, LA County Sheriff's Department, Captain Nicole Palomino.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, esteemed members of the City Council, and members of the community. I'm Nicole Palomino, the captain of South Los Angeles Station, and I will be presenting the public safety report for February 4th through February 18th. And I will begin by discussing our notable arrests and investigations. So to begin, on February 7th at approximately 1:30 p.m., deputies responded to the area of 15800 Hawthorne Boulevard regarding an assault with a deadly weapon call for service. The deputies contacted the victim and learned he was working at a local business when a female adult suspect pointed a firearm at him. The deputies located the suspect a short distance away and arrested her for assault with a deadly weapon, and the suspect was not a resident of Lawndale. And then on February 13th, deputies responded to the 4700 block of 147th Street regarding a burglary in progress call for service, and the deputies arrived on scene and located the individual listed in the call. After a thorough investigation, the deputies determined that a crime did not occur, but the individual was in fact experiencing a mental health crisis. We had our mental health evaluation team requested to the scene, and the individual was transported to a hospital for further treatment. And then regarding our traffic-related incidents, Motorcycle Traffic Enforcement Deputy Morales issued approximately 20 citations during the reporting period for various vehicle code violations such as failure to stop at a stop sign, failure to stop at a red traffic light, driving on the wrong side of the road, and speeding. And then lastly, our next neighborhood watch meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, February 19th at 6 p.m. at the Harold Hoffman Community Center located at 14700 Buren Avenue. Everyone from the community is invited and encouraged to attend. And I just want to remind everybody that this is a fantastic opportunity for Lawndale residents to gather and discuss important public safety issues with law enforcement and other community members. And this concludes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions the council might have.
Okay, thank you for that report. Are there any questions of the captain's report? Yes, ma'am.
For the neighborhood watch, if we have Spanish speakers that want to attend, would we have a translator there?
We can accommodate that, yes, ma'am.
Would they have to RSVP in advance, or do we have someone there?
We can have an interpreter from law enforcement assist with the meeting.
Okay.
We can do that. We can accommodate, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is public comments. Public comments is when you have the opportunity to speak to this body on items that are not on the agenda. If you'd like to do so, we ask that you line up by the flag. When it becomes your turn, if you will come to the podium, if you start with your name first. At about 2.5 minutes, the amber light will come on to give you the signal to start wrapping things up. You don't have to wait for your name to be called. Let's have our first speaker.
Hi there, Andrew Blackney. I'm a resident of Lawndale. So this past weekend, extended weekend, I had the fortune of taking a very long bike ride throughout most of the South Bay, and I was really pleased with a lot of the infrastructure in the South Bay in general. And one of the things that really caught my attention was a lot of cities have implemented leading pedestrian indicators where the pedestrian light comes on before the green light comes on, giving people the ability, people and cyclists, the ability to beat the traffic so that they're not competing for a lane with cars or competing with cars when they're trying to turn. And I noticed that we don't have that really anywhere in the city here implemented. And so I'd like to ask if that's something that we could look into, especially because, as I brought to your attention before, the light being short at Vermona, having some sort of leading pedestrian indicator or something there would help with that issue. And especially would help because today, the impetus for this is that light was so short that I nearly was killed by a truck that it saw that it had the green light. There was a box truck blocking the view of the turning lane, and so they almost plowed into me because I didn't have enough time from that light cycle to get through to get to the other side of the street. And I think something like a leading pedestrian indicator would definitely help with that. I mean, I've sent you guys a video of me almost getting killed by another car trying to cross Hawthorne. So we know that it's not just a simple issue, but that's one of the things that could go to helping a great way with that. And so I'd like it if we could potentially look into doing that. That'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dina, Lawndale resident. I'm reading this on behalf of somebody that couldn't be here tonight. So it's concerning the fireworks. Lawndale's law enforcement team has made it clear that allowing safe and sane firework hinders enforcement of illegal fireworks. Since illegal stuff provides cover for the barrage of mortars, allowing one fireworks stand last year was bad enough. Considering 3 this year will make it enforcement even more difficult. Social media comments made it clear that residents do not want any form of fireworks as they are bad for the environment. With 2 recent house fires in densely populated Lawndale and with one of the recent major fires potentially caused by fireworks, it's negligent to allow any form of fireworks. At a recent city council meeting, a council member agreed that even safe and sane are dangerous. One of the requirements in the application process is to submit proof of current status of nonprofit status. While Westland Church provided a current letter for the California Secretary of State verifying nonprofit status, the Lawndale Little League only provided a form from 2018. The finance department took time to verify current status, but it was not their job to provide the required information. More concerning is that the staff report states the Lawndale Little League permit was revoked last year, but the report failed to address the action so egregious that caused disqualification. The selection cited granting the city of the authority to do this also states, any person or organization whose permit is revoked or shall be ineligible for firework permit for a period of 5 years. This has only been other entities which face familiar permit revocation that are still serving the 5-year period. The Lawndale Little League decided not to appeal the decision last year, but the law will be circumvented in their favor. Despite the recommendations by the Finance Department last year not to grant a permit to Westland Church due to late filing of the required report, the council waived the decision while some of the council members also serving on the board of the South Bay 25 Club. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that members of this organization that partner with the church to sell fireworks. If so, how much money does South Bay 25 receive from the sale of fireworks last year? Well, the benefits are community overall allowing these sales, bounce houses, Sunday school samples, and $5,000 to the Lawndale City High School homecoming expenses are nice things, but they do not even benefit 5% of the community of about 30,000. Our newly elected council member is a pastor for the church and allows fireworks, but they don't sell fireworks and raise funds from other methods. Council members have shown concern of rising costs in city permits and other fees without the recent tariffs of
Time's
Chinese
expired.
goods. Okay, thank you.
Rhonda Hoffman Gorman, City of Lawndale. I just have a couple little comments, and it's mostly to the residents, and it's pertaining to Neighborhood Watch tomorrow night. Oftentimes, we as residents complain or say, oh, the city's not doing enough, or law enforcement isn't doing enough, and they'll never answer my calls, and we continue to live with the same issues within our neighborhoods over and over again. So I wanted to come up and remind residents and to try to empower them. At this Neighborhood Watch meeting, we're being heard, and we're seeing problems be addressed and solved. And I encourage any resident that sees things going on in front of their house, don't sit there and shrug your shoulders and say, somebody else will take care of it. No, it's up to each one of us as residents. If you see something, say something. And a great place to start is at Neighborhood Watch. We've got the city working with us, we've got law enforcement, and we're doing a really good job at getting problems in our community solved. So for residents that are at home, residents that are sitting here in the council chambers tonight, come and join us. Be part of the answer, not part of the problem. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak to this body under oral communications? Okay, seeing none, we'll close oral communications and bring it up to the diocese for any comments, if there is any from the council. Councilman.
Good evening and welcome to the meeting. I'm glad to see everybody here tonight. Regarding the comments that people spoke about, I'm in favor with Andrew. I saw the pedestrian leading lights in LA where I used to work. I thought they were malfunctioning, but they gave the pedestrian a few seconds to start the cross, and the cars were waiting. So I think that's a great idea. Anything that we can do to helps our residents cross the street safely, is a good idea. Regarding the email that Randall sent to us, read by Dina, I wanted to say that in his comment where he says a council member agreed, I do agree of a ban on safe and sane fireworks, provided if we could go back to the firework show that we used to have long time ago at Lusinger High School. So I'd like to see something viable. I don't like to cut things and then not have anything replaced. That's not the solution. So I think we should.
I'm sorry, so this is actually an item on the agenda, so maybe it would be more appropriate to have that discussion when it comes up and respond directly to the comment then.
All right, great.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Madam City Attorney, under what item is that on the agenda?
Firework permits.
The fireworks,
Well, it
Yeah,
says
there's-
recommend
there's a discussion
Approval.
on approval, right?
this is approval of the permits
Correct,
to do fireworks.
right.
But I think what he's getting at is, the councilman is getting at, and I agree with him, is that we're not going to cancel it, the fireworks this year,
Right.
because
Oh,
we're
I
going to
see.
either
All right.
approve or disapprove.
Right, I'm just addressing the comment that were made or that's.
I think
that are in the
you're
email.
looking to move forward with a public display,
Yes, understood. Absolutely.
which is,
We got it, Mayor, it's a different topic
which
we're
is,
talking about.
which is appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's where I stand with that. Let's see what else I was going to say. Well, then I'll continue the rest of my comments under the other item about fireworks. And last, also with the Neighborhood Watch Program, I think Councilmember Cuevas made a request to Officer or Captain Palomino, which I thought was great. If we want more people involved, you know, our demographics from the city has changed tremendously from many years ago. And we're almost a Hispanic, Spanish-speaking community at large. So when I sit at the senior lunches, you know, a lot of the concerns that are raised at the table where I'm at is I wish they would tell us something in Spanish. I wish they would, you know, get Spanish music. And I know I'm not trying to change anything as far as like this is going to be English only or something like that, but our demographic has changed, and we want more people to come out. Then we have to invite them by using the language, their native language, the language that they're used to communicating in. So if we could, on behalf of the police department, the sheriff's department, if that could be the standard, I mean, why does it have to be something special? It could be a standard in many of our meetings where we want our Hispanic, Spanish-speaking residents to come out. Then they'll already know, oh, well, I know that they'll have some translation devices and I'll be able to participate in the meetings. That's it.
Is that it? Councilwoman Suarez.
Thank you to everybody that came out and spoke. I will touch briefly on Andrew's item. If staff could look at future projects in which we could gradually maybe look at implementing it. I don't know that we have very many, but if we could start to see if this could potentially be of use to start heading that direction with the pedestrian indicator. And then the other comment I had is unfortunately I won't be able to make the neighborhood watch because I have a conflicting meeting. However, I do want to ask if the sheriff's department could include an update on gang activity, which has been a big issue in the city, and what the sheriff department is doing to address it, and something of that nature. I think our residents have been wanting to hear. And with that, I'll pass it along. Thank you.
Councilwoman Cuevas.
Thank you for coming and speaking, and those that are watching, we're inviting you to come out and also speak. Are the traffic lights part of Caltran, or are they city traffic lights?
Well, we have some shared lights with an adjacent jurisdiction. We have with LA County as well, and as our own lights as well. our own
Do
traffic.
we have to ask permission if we were to switch them to the pedestrian?
We'd have to work with we'd work with the other agencies to get what they call an encroachment permit, to be permitted to allow them to make those updates, and we would work with those other agencies to do so based on the future capital improvements and project planning for that.
There's a cost to put a computer in there and say 3 seconds before?
There'll definitely be some costs. We would bring that back to the council for consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And my colleagues already touched on the fireworks stand and the neighborhood watch. So thank you for coming out.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank everybody that came out tonight. Andrew, I was in Torrance today, and I was on Torrance Boulevard. And we were crossing to go turn left on Torrance Boulevard. Turn west on Hawthorne Boulevard. And a bicycle on my right and my left ran the red light. Then they proceeded to turn left on freeway on a red light. So, it's pros and cons. It's both sides of the spectrum. You have people that don't pay attention to the law. I understand you do, but I had a young man on 153rd Place that had cameras on, going west and turning north on Ramona, didn't even stop at that stop sign, just blew right by and turned right. So, you know, we all want these safe entities, but it's going to take both sides. It's not just, well, Lawndale. And on your next door, I saw that you said Lawndale is one of the worst cities to ride a bike in, which I like to debate that with you because I think all the cities are terrible. And that's what Andrew, Dina, fireworks, you know how I am with fireworks. And neighbor watch, I hope everyone comes out. And I agree, we need translators. But if you're going to do that, we need people that are deaf. You have to have a translator down here doing our council meetings and sign. I'm Native American, so I'd like to have somebody speak Native American for me. We have Vietnamese here, we have Samoans, we have different languages, so let's start little, work big. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, I appreciate everyone for coming out today. My colleagues have spoken about the pedestrian light, which I agree, because I work in LA, by the way, and there's a number of those lights are in LA. Rhonda, thank you for bringing up the Neighborhood Watch meeting. I do encourage folks to attend the Neighborhood Watch meeting. I don't know if I can attend tomorrow, but leading up to November, I did have attended a few Neighborhood Watch meetings. And at the Neighborhood Watch meeting, you have a robust discussion with law enforcement and with your neighbors. So what happens at Neighborhood Watch, it's not like a council meeting because everyone gets to speak. There's a presentation made by the law enforcement, usually the sheriff, and we may have a guest speaker at some point. But usually the sheriff does a presentation. And then there's a communications between, you know, the residents. So I encourage everyone to attend the Neighborhood Watch meetings tomorrow. At what time is it?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. across the street at the Earl Hoffman Community Center. Let's see. Okay, that's all I have. Okay. Let's move our agenda to the item F, consent calendar, because we did all communications and comments from the council. Item F, we have a number of appointees on item F to various boards and commissions. What is the pleasure of this body concerning such? Bernadette?
Hi, I had a question to ask. I don't know if it was just this agenda item or in prior years, but we used to be able to see all of the applicants that submitted, and I only saw the applicants that were selected. So unfortunately, for beautification, parks and rec, personnel, and planning, just because I can't see the whole list, I would be a no on those. I don't need to discuss them separately, I just don't have all the information.
Okay.
So when I vote, those would be reflected as a no.
Okay. We'll make a note of that. We'll make a note of that, the change. Okay.
Well, there's not, besides Bernadette's comments, or I'll make a motion to go with staff recommendation with the exception to, I guess all of them, 2 through 9.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Kearney has approved the consent calendar, which includes the mayor's recommendations for various boards and commissions. Cuevas has seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Will the council please vote?
For the consent calendar, the motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Thank you, Madam City Clerk.
And can I just note that for 5, 6, 7, and 8, mine says a no.
Yeah.
Okay, noted. Thank you. Councilmember Suarez.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on item G. Item G.
10, right?
Yeah, number 10, yeah.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. This is a continuation item for City Council to consider an ordinance to increase the city clerk compensation. During the February 3rd City Council meeting, City Council requested staff to bring back an ordinance for council's consideration, increasing the compensation for the city clerk from $350 per month to $700 per month to take effect in April, which will be 30 days after the second reading of the ordinance. Please note that this increase will also require a budget amendment in the amount of $2,100 for the remaining fiscal year. Staff respectfully recommends that City Council introduce for first reading by title only and waive further reading of Ordinance 1209-25, amending Chapter 2.16 of the Lawndale Municipal Code regarding compensation for elected city clerk to become effective 30 days after the second reading of the ordinance, and authorize the Director of Finance, the Director of Finance, City Treasurer, to appropriate $2,100 from the general fund to the salaries for elected officials line item in the city clerk's budget, and/or provide further direction to the city manager, if any. This concludes staff report.
Okay, thank you for that report. Are there any questions of the report? Any member of the public wants to speak on this item?
Hi, Rhonda Hoffman Gorman, City of Lawndale. I just have a quick comment on why I would support the role, and I am a previous city clerk, so I think I am pretty much aware of what the job entails. It's not about the person, it is about the position, and being the fact that that was the only position that did not have a pay raise, I'm absolutely for advancing that position. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of information. As my dad was the previous mayor from the city of Lawndale, when this item came up initially in front of the city council for all of us to get raises, I went and I had a conversation with my 89-year-old mother. And at that point, it had been 16 years since we had given either the council members or city clerk, any of us, a raise. And I was perplexed at how I was going to vote on this. And my 89-year-old mother said it best. She said, Rhonda, elections are expensive. And she says that position has got to be able to afford to get through an election. She says, this has been 16 years without a pay increase. You know what's going to happen, Rhonda? It's going to sit for another 16 years before it's addressed again. Give them the pay raise. And with that, I had to agree. Elections are expensive. I went through one election with a ballot statement and one half-sheet flyer and a third of another one, and it still cost me $9,300. Elections are expensive. And regardless of if you're a city clerk or a city council member or the mayor, the costs are still the same. I support giving our city clerk a pay advance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. What's the pleasure of this body concerning this item?
Well, if there's no addition, you have a speaker. You have a speaker.
Oh, okay.
It's just to reiterate my points from the last meeting. I don't agree with the compensation raise, not to that amount at the very least. And so for that reason, I will be a no.
Okay. Now, what is the pleasure concerning this?
So I'll make a motion to go.
Motion is made by Kearney that we approve the,
I'll second that.
seconded by Cuevas. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, would the council please vote?
For item number 10, the motion passes with Councilmember Suarez voting no.
Okay. Item 11 is the mid-year budget update for fiscal year 2024 through 2025. Let's have the staff report.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and council members. So we have the fiscal year 24-25 mid-year budget review. Just some background, the budget was adopted June 3rd, 2024, with a general fund budget of just over 21 million. Numbers being presented tonight are most current as of December 31, 2024.
Mr. Mayor, is the finance director's mic on?
I have the button on. Yes.
I can hear you.
Does this one work? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, so the fiscal 24-25 budget was adopted June 3rd, 2024, with a general fund budget of just over 21 million, and numbers being presented tonight are as of December 31, 2024, which is the halfway point for the fiscal year. To start with, going to go over the, just a high-level general fund financial condition. We're proposing an amendment to decrease general fund revenues by 258,219, and an amendment increasing expenditures by 156,500, a net effect of 414,719, which is an overall decrease to the general fund balance. And we'll get into the reasons behind each. Starting with revenues. So we had revenues budgeted at 21,029,753, and we are currently at 47% of that number. We've received 9,781,854. Just to give an idea, overall, so this number is 2% lower compared to the same period last year. And the biggest revenues that are affecting this are the sales and use tax, which includes the Measure L transaction use tax, the 3/4 cent sales tax. So this that we've received to date is, compared to last year, is 800,000 lower, or 22%. And then also the other big part affecting the revenues are some decrease in the community development fees, about 94,000, comparing these to last year numbers. We did have some offsets against this. There was some increases. There's a motor vehicle in lieu of property tax, which is just basically a property tax revenues that we get. That increased by 246,000. Interest income has increased by 208,000. That's close to a 50% increase compared to last year. Property tax increased by 44,000. Utility users tax increased by 49,000. And then we also had the sale of the multimedia van, which is another about a little over 100,000. So there was some big decrease, but we had some offsets against it. But overall, we're still lower by 2% compared to last year's. As far as budget was concerned, the biggest, surprise was that lower than expected sales tax revenues. For the first 2 quarters, it has been coming in lower. Some of this was already built into the budget we had adopted, but it kind of worse than even those expectations when we discussed with HDL, which is our sales tax consultant. So they revised their numbers, so that forces us to really revise our budget numbers, and that's why I'm proposing the decrease in the revenues that I am in here. So that kind of covers everything. The big part of revenue, what's going on there is lower than what we've expected. HDL has kind of confirmed that with the sales tax, so that's where we're at with those. Moving into expenditures, overall, we're on target, and we're about 40% of the budget, which is good. It might seem low, but we get some bigger expenses that come in towards the end of the year, so we'll catch up to that. So we are proposing an amendment to increase by 156,500. And really, we've kept everything the same, but this one we're kind of forced to do because this is for water usage charges. There was a water meter, I believe, on Hawthorne and Marine, which got replaced quite some time ago. There was an error on how it was calculating. We were really only paying $500 to $1,000 a month on this, but I believe it covers a huge portion of that median. And now those bills are coming in at a little about $3,500 to $4,000 a month. So that's a big, huge increase we were not really expecting, and that's kind of, I've discussed with Public Works, and it does appear to be correct now at the higher rates. And also they're looking to go back about 1.5 years, so that's another $38,000 that they're asking for. We are looking into this to make sure that it is correct, but that's kind of where we're at with this right now. And I wanted to build it into the budget so that we end up paying this out. I don't want there to be surprises at the end of the year. So that's expenditures, and that's really the only big change on the expenditures that we have. So overall, these budget amendments are reducing revenues by 258,000, increasing expenses by 156,000. Net effect is a 414,000, basically decrease to our fund balance in general fund. And if you look at the report, I have a projected deficit of 395,000. However, we do have quite a bit of savings. We've had some open positions throughout the year. Accounting manager, public works director, community development director, community development manager, and I calculated savings on these about 153,000. Also, most of these positions had some sort of a consultant come in throughout the year, and we budgeted those fully for the rest of the year. So there's going to be savings on those contracts as well, and I calculated that another 135,000 saving. And then also just in general, I think we've done very well as a city. We have a lot of savings, like from supplies, travel meetings, staff development. And then the biggest ones I see are building, maintenance for both building and vehicles. So it looks like, we are doing a lot of improvements throughout City Hall and the public works. So there's really shouldn't see too many building maintenance costs. And also most of our vehicles are newer within the last year or two. So really reducing, maintenance and upkeep of those, really, other than just your oil changes and tires. That's it, really. So those I have about 400,000. That kind of offsets the deficit I'm projecting. So by year end we should be even balanced budget. And that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, let's have some questions.
All right.
Ms. Cuevas.
If we have to do repairs on the automobiles, Lucho's gonna pay for those, because he's been getting cars from us. No, just kidding, Lucho. Two things. The water bill, why didn't we catch it before? Because a city this big, we shouldn't be getting a $500, $600 out of a meter, right? It should be a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know why it wasn't caught earlier. We were just paying the bill that the water company sends to us. And then they went out and changed the meter. They said it was calculating incorrectly, and it was, I think they went back like a year and a half. So I don't know why we didn't know, or, we just kind of paid the bill as it came in.
Could we audit them too? Because I could come back and tell you, you owe me
Yeah, and that's what I.
$1,000 in water,
Yeah.
when in reality it's not.
Yeah, and that's what I've been working with Public Works on, to make sure that, the numbers they're giving us now is correct, and what they trying to charge us for the back is kind of a number that makes sense as well. So we are looking into that before we pay it.
Mayor, Council, just a heads up, the city attorney's involved, and we may not have to pay back that after so many months, so I kind of know where you're heading with that. That's right.
That was my other thing. It was their error.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't go back a year
Yeah.
and a half and expect the city to pay.
Yeah. So we are looking into that just to make sure it's correct, and working with the attorney as well as Public Works.
And do we know why our sales and use tax is so low this year? Are we
Just overall statewide, there's been, the first 2 quarters, there's been decreases. This last quarter, I believe, was about a 2 or 2.5% decrease. And that's kind of in line with what the whole state is experiencing, as well, as well as the county and the state. So we're all kind of in the same boat.
So it's not just.
It's not just the city of Lawndale, it's throughout the entire state.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
But just to kind of follow up on that, the reports going into next year and the year beyond that, we're looking at a 2% increase. So it is just a temporary fallback for right now, but they are projecting increases in the years coming up.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Suarez.
I just want to make sure that I was understanding some of what you were saying earlier. So with regards to the projections with, was it I forget the consultant?
HDL.
HDL. So we've taken that into consideration for the rest of the remaining year, and so we've
Yes.
we've been more conservative with our expectations with
Yes.
the sales tax, and expect to be basically balanced by okay.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
the other question was, what were some of the temporary services that we were using? Do you have examples of those?
As far as the savings that I mentioned that we're getting, so I had a For my accounting manager, I had a person in here helping temporarily, and when we budgeted for through the end of the fiscal year. So basically, we're having like 7 or 8 months of that contract that we're not going to use. So there's savings off of that contract. There's also, I believe, Public Works had a temporary Public Works director that was budgeted for through the rest of the fiscal year as well. So we have savings on that contract as well. And I believe the same thing for the city community development director as well.
And then the other question, which I think Councilmember Cuevas talked about really quickly, the repairs for the building, maintenance related, or it's maintenance related to building and vehicles.
Yes.
Are we deferring maintenance, or it's just we have new vehicles?
No, just the vehicles are new, so there's really
Okay.
those maintenance,
Okay.
there's no maintenance cost there. I mean, before we were having larger ticket items coming in, where it's like 2,000-3,000 to fix whatever it was on the cars, and so we're not really seeing that, and we've had some good savings this year.
So we have savings for it this year, but do we amend during the budget season to account for that? I mean, it won't be, maybe the first few years, but
Yeah.
we start looking at that.
So we'll start looking at that, every budget season, we'll look at that, kind of put that into perspective, how old are the vehicles, and we'll just kind of take a look at what we expect to come up.
And then one other question, we have been wanting to hire in community services. Do we know if we've been able for those part-timers to hire anybody at this point?
I think we're looking at that. I kind of deferred, I don't know if Sean's got info on that.
Mayor,
or-
Council, I'll have Jason give you an update.
Good evening, Jason Minner, Community Services Director. We have filled, I think, 4 positions with one additional one started actually last week, so that makes 5, and another one coming online hopefully the next week or 2. That helps get us a lot closer to what our goal was, at least in terms of getting rentals open in the Hoffman Center. We are losing one to retirement after 30-something years of being with the city. So, you get some, you take a couple steps forward, lose one. But yes, we are making a lot of progress thanks to Human Resources and the staff and their staff for helping us recruit.
Okay, so that's taken into consideration.
Yes, because that was already all built into
Okay,
the budget
okay.
when we
I
adopted
just
it.
wasn't sure if that was something that we were cutting midway, but those were all my questions for now. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kearney.
One question. On the general fund expenditure budget adjustments, it says general fund expenditure budget. What are we talking about water? Public Works grounds and Public Works streets for 156,500. Where's that coming from?
So that's in the general fund, and that's, since it's on that median, that falls under Public Works. It's under their budget. This is the water company, I don't remember their name, but that's their meter, and that's who we pay the bills to. And so the meter before was not calculating correctly, so we were only paying 500 to 1,000 a month. It varies.
I understand that. This is a total of what we might owe, or we need to
Yes.
take out of general fund?
That's the total out of the 156, 38 is for about a year and a half in the past, so we're in negotiation with that. But I wanted to build it into the budget for right now. And then I also upped it from the 500 to 3,500 a month to account for the 6-7 months remaining in the year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Okay, what is the pleasure of this body concerning the mid-year budget update for fiscal year 2024 through 2025?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Cuevas that we approve the budget as presented. Second by Kearney. Any discussion on the motion? Will the council please vote?
For item number 11, the motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Item 12, 2025 fireworks application approval.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. So here we have the 2025 fireworks application approval. So some background, council approves up to 8 fireworks sales permits for the year, and that's per Lawndale Municipal Code Chapter 8.12. This year, we have received a total of 3 applications. Lawndale Parks and Recreation, Lawndale Little League, and the Wesleyan Church. So all 3 did attend the required opening orientation meeting and are being submitted for approval per City Council Policy 83-04, which requires attendance at the January meeting. So all 3 were there, and we're looking at council for direction on these 3 applicants.
Okay. Madam Cuevas.
All right, couple of questions. Did our firework committee meet? And if so, did they go through the approval of these 3 entities?
Mayor, Council, our fireworks committee did not meet, and they don't, normally this is done at the staff level, but obviously if that's what you guys want to do next year, when we meet, we can do that, but they did not review these applications. They go
Okay.
through the finance department.
So finance did.
Correct.
Was the paperwork this time turned in on time before
Yes.
midnight? And did the other 2 didn't have firework stands, but are they up to date on every documentation that is needed?
All 3, yes, for the applications, they were all turned in on time.
Okay. And then, is it okay to ask Michael about how many citations have been paid out of last year's, or is this a different subject?
This would not be, I guess if it's up to the council, if you want to ask questions about fireworks, but it's not on the agenda. This is a separate item.
That would be a separate item.
I'll bring it up next. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of this body concerning this item? I don't see anyone positioned to speak. Okay, let's hear it from the public.
Hi there, Andrew Blackney, resident of Lawndale. I will not pretend to be fully versed in what the rules or the policies of this city are, but I do understand that the city does have a policy of for revoke licenses and giving those entities that had that had a revocation, giving them a permit to sell fireworks again. I don't see the good in telling people that, yes, you broke the rules, but it's okay, we're okay with that, to go forward and give you a second chance at this. I am a firm believer in that actions have consequences, and so if you did break the rules, you have to suffer the consequences of that. And I also would, I'd like to probably, or I would like to just, if I was in your shoes, I'd be asking our legal counsel of, is there any blowback from this? Of if there's clearly an issue with the rules here for one of these for at least one of these applications, is there something there that we'd be open to any legal ramifications from someone about them thus not following the rules to a T on that? Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, all your members, thank you. We're here, I've listened to a lot of the comments, and we're here to get approved for legal fireworks, right? Not illegal ones. And so a little bit of background on the illegal fireworks that we have, or that we try to get recommended for. They're about 4 foot high. The noise level on some of these fireworks are 0. The height, again, like I said, it's 4 foot, but it may reach maybe about the height of this gentleman over here, Mr. Jason. And so in the color are beautiful, they're always a 4 out of 4. And so the standard is the approval should be for the legal fireworks. And also the fundraising that we are trying to do with these is to improve the fields at Jane Addams and at William Green. And so this is what we've done so far. We have did the lights on Green and Jane Addams. We did the infield on the major fields, and we did purchase equipment to make the work a lot easier for everybody. We won't have to schlep everything around from one field to another. And so nothing goes, like I said, 10 foot high perhaps, the max. The illegal fireworks go over and above 5, 10-story buildings. And we shouldn't mix the legal fireworks with the illegal. There should be a separate item for the city of Lawndale to take care of, a different agenda. The law enforcement to be involved, to have drones out there, and which would take care, maybe increase the penalty to $10,000, and it would really improve that. And it would leave legal fireworks alone, because we're not there to do any damage. We're there to help. We're there to help the community, which we have done, actually, as a byproduct. We have auto lighting for the city as well, for the kids to come and play. And not just for Little League. You know, we've done it for everybody. And so actually, those should be recommended. Hopefully that we get this permit. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Hold on. All right. No clapping, hissing, or booing.
Thank you. John Martinez, Honorable Council, Mayor, staff, City Manager, City Attorney. Thank you for allowing us to be here to hear us. Thank you to all the ball players, all the parents that came to support. We couldn't get 200 families out here for you guys, but we brought all our diehards, okay? These are our diehards right here. And they're here because, you know, they want to play on nice, level, flat fields. They want a park that has lighting, that has all the great things that other parks have. When we go play at other parks in our district, I want to say we've made an improvement from the last few years, but prior to that, it was an embarrassment for other leagues to come play over here. All of a sudden, we're probably, I think, midway where we want to be, and we want to continue increasing, you know, the playing fields. And so that's why we need this permit, so we can be allowed to sell safe and sane, nothing illegal, right? Illegal fireworks, I mean, there's always argument that you're going to use safe and sane to mask illegal fireworks. And you guys have heard me come up here and talk about this already. I grew up in Pasadena. They've been banned. Safe and sane has been banned there since I was a kid. To this day, it's a bombardment out there, okay? The sheriff was out here. I don't recall what meeting it was. They said the only way we're going to put a stop to illegal fireworks is if we have a deputy on every city block. So by getting rid of safe and sane, you're not going to get rid of the illegal ones. It's unfortunate. I would love to get rid of the illegal ones. I hate them. You know, my dog goes crazy for the few days before that it's actually legal to pop fireworks, the safe and sanes, but you roll with the punches, you know. You comfort the pet, you put them in the garage and put some music on and everything is good. You just got to know how to work it. I think George covered on everything else, the improvements we've made. You know, we spent, I don't know, maybe $5-6 grand on lighting at Jane Addams and at Green. You know, I think we repaired maybe 50% of the lighting at both parks. And it's not just the league that benefits, it's the citizens. You know, I've had people come up to me and say, hey, thank you for fixing the lighting around here. Now I can walk my dog and feel a little safer. So thank you. I don't know what else to add to that, but we're here in full force. Thanks to all the ball players, parents that came to support. And we hope that you all will grant us a permit to sell fireworks this year. Thank you.
All right.
Hello. My name is Christina. I don't want to take too much time because I know we're all kind of repeating the same things, but I just wanted to come up here and represent Lawndale Little League. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing for our local kids with the opportunity to play baseball, learn teamwork, and build lifelong skills. Like many organizations, we do rely on fundraising in order to keep the league going, and fireworks is our biggest fundraiser. We have tried multiple other fundraisers within Lawndale Little League. Oh, sorry. We have tried other fundraisers within Lawndale Little League, but none have been as successful as the fireworks. I understand some residents do not like legal fireworks. However, the reality is people will continue to purchase them, whether they go to the next city to do so. Instead of allowing those dollars to leave our community, this fundraiser gives us an opportunity to reinvest that money right here into our parks, into our children, into our city's future. That goes outside of Lawndale Little League. Our league serves a predominantly minority community, and we are proud to be the most affordable Little League in the South Bay. We believe every child should have the opportunity to play regardless of their financial circumstances. Fundraising helps us keep these costs low for our families, and due to our fundraising support. Without it, many kids in our community could miss out on the opportunity to play and risk losing our league. I have my son there, and Little League is really important. You know, it keeps our children off the streets. It keeps them from not tagging. It keeps them from not being in gangs, and it's very, very important that we keep this Little League going. So I want to emphasize that we do take safety seriously. We are committed to following all city regulations and state laws regarding the fireworks sales, and we will ensure proper training, secure storage, and clearly safety measures at our sales locations. So by allowing our Little League to sell fireworks, you're not only supporting a fundraiser, you are investing in the future of all of our children. And if you decide to reject our permit, I hope the city can find a way to provide funding to keep our children off the streets and to fill our parks with volunteers and kids playing ball. Our youth deserves opportunities, and our community deserves to be safe and thriving space for them to grow. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because I'm leading by example.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Luz, and my son is in the Lawndale Little League. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. I stand before you as a passionate supporter of the community's Little League baseball program, which has given countless children not just the love of the game, but how it has brought the community together. This league has provided kids with opportunities to build teamwork, discipline, and confidence. I would like to share a story that is deeply personal and meaningful to me. A story about how baseball, a game of so many of us love, changed the course of my son's life. It might sound dramatic, but I truly believe that baseball saved my son's life. There was a time when my son was struggling, whether it was health challenges, emotional struggles, or difficulties in finding his path. He felt lost. Life seemed overwhelming, and I could see how hard it was for him to see beyond the darkness of those moments. He wasn't always a star athlete. He wasn't even sure if he belonged in the game, but baseball. Baseball became a way for him to connect, not just a sport, but with himself. One day he picked up a baseball. Excuse me. One day he picked up a bat again, and I saw something in him change. Maybe it was the rhythm of the game or the discipline that came with practicing every day, but there was a shift. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable no longer defined him. Baseball became his therapy, his escape, and his way to rebuild his confidence. Through those long hours on the field, my son learned the value of perseverance. He learned that failure was in the end. It was part of the journey. He learned teamwork, not just in the game, but in life. But most importantly, he found hope in something he loved. Baseball didn't just give him something to do, it gave him something to live for. Baseball became his anchor. Every game, every practice, every moment on that field was a step forward toward a better version of himself. It gave him strength in his weakness moments. It gave him purpose when he felt lost. As a parent, watching my son thrive through a sport, knowing it saved him in ways I couldn't, is a gift I will never take for granted. Baseball didn't teach him how to hit, pitch, or catch. It taught him how to fight through adversity, how to keep going when it's hard, and how to rise again after every fall. Depriving the league of not being able to have the opportunity to have the booth this 4th of July can have real consequences. It will mean for fewer opportunities for young kids like my son, fewer safe spaces for kids to learn and grow, and loss of community pride. It would make baseball inaccessible to those who cannot afford private leagues, widening the gap between those resources and those without resources. But it's not just about the players. Baseball brings communities together. It strengthens school spirit, gives families a place to gather and cheer. It teaches life lessons, not just those on the field, but to all who watch and support. Instead of taking away opportunities to better the Little League program, we should be investing in them. We should be strengthening our baseball programs, ensuring that every child, like my son and his teammates, no matter their background, has a chance to step onto the field and swing for the fences. I urge
Time's
you.
expired.
Good evening. Pastor Matthew Harbison, Lawndale Wesleyan Church. Last year, we were the only booth that sold fireworks in the city, and we sold the Phantom Fireworks brand. The next day, the 5th, when I was going back to our stand and doing some other things in the community, I saw a lot of TNT fireworks. We are the only Phantom stand, so the fact that when I saw the waste of, people should learn to clean up, that's another story, but the fact of the matter is people were leaving Lawndale and buying TNT fireworks, and therefore the tax dollars went there instead of to Lawndale. It's not that they wanted to do TNT or Phantom. I don't know. I just know that in our streets there were TNT fireworks, and that meant that people were wanting to buy fireworks and they went elsewhere to do so. So having more organizations on various corners will hopefully keep more Lawndale dollars in Lawndale and allow more taxes to be utilized for the community. I am a bit discouraged that the fireworks committee didn't get to meet. I hope that that can happen again and that the people who sell fireworks can be part of that, because I know some of the discussion is the expenses for the police to cover things, or the sheriffs to cover things, excuse me. And if it's a matter of, do we start imposing a tax on the businesses for being here, I'm open to that. If you do get a meeting, I would like to be invited, as well as any of the other sellers, just so that we can be aware of what you're thinking, as well as you can hear what we're thinking. And so I just want to say, let's continue to support the various organizations in Lawndale. I'd like to see us back to 9 booths again, so we have a variety of people able to enjoy on this fundraiser, as far as using the money to advance the various causes that help the different children in Lawndale, because that's what this is all about. And I continue to stand by, if people are safe and they are sane, then the fireworks will be safe and sane. But when people do dumb stuff, it's just like they're driving a car, it's just like they're drinking alcohol, it's just like they're doing things. If you're not doing the right thing, doing the right precautions, bad things happen. And so if we can educate the public, if we can continue to do a good job as a community to raise good citizens, fireworks is definitely an opportunity for us to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Suarez, and I'm a resident here. And I want to say that I am in favor of the Safe and Sane fireworks. I grew up here. I'm a lifelong resident in Lawndale, and I grew up with fireworks every year. My family, we got together and we used them. And I raised all of my children with the fireworks, got together again as a family. And now my grandchildren come down every year, and we enjoy this as a family. And I do support the fundraising for our organizations here that support our children in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Cuevas.
No, not, oh, sorry. No.
Kearney.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to clarify something on the letter Mr. Abrams sent to us, if I may. About the South Bay 25 Club. 3 of the council members up here in the club, and I believe, you want to know how much money we received, I believe it's either $5,000 or $6,000, $5,000. The money did go for the Santa sleigh. I don't know if you're familiar with Santa sleigh. Santa comes around the city, angel tree, and then 9 nights after that. That money goes towards the candy canes, the upkeep of the sleigh. George, you were in air as usual. It's okay, George. Just sit there and look cute. Fireworks are no higher than 6 feet tall, not 4 feet. I looked it up. Anyway, just sit there and look cute, George. All right. Anyway, moving on. I can't speak for Councilmember Talavera about being a pastor. I don't know if he's a pastor in this city, but I do know that I grew up in fireworks like Sandra, you did. My kids did, and I'm all for fireworks. With that being said, I believe I covered everything in the letter. I'm good with that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, Suarez.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody that came out tonight. I think Pastor Harbison mentioned a few things that were going through my head. Is it really depends on educating the public on how to use safe and sane correctly. Because I know the comment about they can be dangerous, but like you mentioned, a car can be dangerous. A lot of things can be dangerous if they're not handled properly. And then the other thing is that I don't have an issue with approving these applications. I think with respect to, we used to have a lot more booths, and I think if it was very competitive and we had a lot of organizations vying for these, but because we've only had 3 applications and they all made the cut, I have no problem pushing these through. I do think that the Little League has done a lot of good stuff for the community, such as maintaining the parks, giving funds. And so for me, I'm in favor of approving these 3 applications.
I am part of South Bay 25, and in order to stay away from people talking, I do not participate in the sales of the fireworks. In favor of these 3 organizations. I do want to thank Little League. When I was back in the days in the 90s, part of Little League, Little League was not as strong as it is right now. And our fundraiser was the fireworks stand. My parents would sit with my kids at the Wiener Schnitzel on Artesia during the day while I worked, and then I would work the stand in the evening. So I know how hard it is to fundraise, and I appreciate all of you guys being out here, and especially George and Johnny for the dedication you guys have done and the use of the funds, because you guys do use almost every cent for the fields and the lighting. Not only that, the uniforms. It's easier, it's one of the leagues that the cost of a uniform is less for the parents to pay. You go to any other Little League and you're paying twice what our parents are paying here. So I am in favor of the 3 organizations.
Okay. That's your thing. One more thing. The question that Councilman Talavera brought up about the fireworks shows. The high schools do not allow fireworks shows because they're artificial turf. The school district, which has the big parks, do not want fireworks in the parks at all. So I'm all in favor of Little League and PSSRC, or whatever it is. That's close enough. And Wesleyan Church to have fireworks booths. And so I support it too.
Okay, yeah. The question I had, I think during some of the correspondence that we had, a question was brought up about the application fee. And on one of the organizations, it was waived, I think it said. Yeah, I don't know if that is true or not, but I see that these are all our people. You know, these are all our residents. So if we're doing a favor for one, we need to do it for all of them. So I don't know what the fee that's charged, because if we're only having 3 organizations applying, we're not making a lot of money to fund a lot of things here in Lawndale. It'll actually only be $900. So what's the purpose of the fee, for the application fee?
So Mayor, Council, I can answer that. It's for the cost of administering the permit. This came up about the Parks and Rec. Since we had the city attorney look it up, it was brought up by a concerned resident. It is waived because they're part of the city. But the fee, the applications with the nonprofits, that's the cost and processing. Mr. Minter, he handles the internal, so the cost is probably nothing negligible based on his salary. But the application fee is based on the cost of processing the fireworks. But what was brought up from that concerned resident was why we were waiving it for Parks and Recs. But it's an internal, it's a local, it's one of our commissions, so we don't charge our commission a fee.
Okay.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, Don, make a motion to go with recommendation
I
with
had a
these.
feeling you would say that.
Yeah, these three.
I'll second that.
So the motion has been made by Kearney that we approve the staff recommendation for the fireworks for the three organizations listed below, listed on the report, that is, and Cuevas has seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Okay, would the council please vote?
For item number 12, the motion passes unanimously.
Yeah. Everybody knows this.
You do this.
You're welcome, George.
You sign. 8 o'clock, I want to be home.
13.
You guys don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
You can all stay. Oh,
You
you guys can.
You're all dismissed. So now we're at our usual size.
Yep.
17 minutes.
Okay, you got 17 minutes. So we'll,
17 minutes.
that's what he said.
17 minutes.
Okay, we're on item 13, Measure M, application. Let's have the staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Lucho Rodriguez, Public Works Director, and I'm here to ask about a Measure M application for funding for the local travel network. Local travel network is our network for bicycles and other small vehicles that will go through the city. In a nutshell, it's a period to submit applications now to the South Bay COG, who is helping us with obtaining these funds for our network. We are asking for $1.6 million to help us implement the network through the city in 2 phases. That is pretty much what I have for you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, are you finished?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was distracted.
Staring contest.
Okay, so that was the report. Any questions of the report?
No,
Yes, ma'am.
no questions, just a comment, because it was brought up earlier about bicyclists not adhering to the traffic laws. Part of this program is to implement education for the public, including the schools, on how to correctly use the streets and obey the traffic laws. So I do want to bring that up, that part of that is to educate the public.
Okay. Cuevas.
The maps that were provided to us, they still have the little dot lines. Is that gonna be resolved like we spoke about it at our previous meeting? The cross of, I guess,
Manhattan Beach
Manhattan?
Boulevard.
Is that something that's being looked at right now?
Not yet. That is phase 2 of the project. Right now, these funds are to be used for design and construction. We first have to begin with the design of the network, and that will be done through the COG. In due time, there will be consultants to help us through the process. And at some point, I will be here in front of you showing you what the network may look like.
So is the 1.6 plus part of design and phase 2 or just phase 1?
It covers phase 1 and phase 2. However, there's more funds in the future should we need more. At this time, we really don't know how that particular portion on Manhattan Beach Boulevard will look. So this is just to get us going for now.
Thank you.
One other point I forgot to make is that the COG is actively seeking to hire a planner to help, a planning firm. So they'll have various expertise with regards to planning to help assist with some of these programs that they're implementing.
Okay. What is the pleasure of this body concerning this item?
What is this for?
If there's no-
Staff.
I'll make a motion
I'll second that.
to submit the application
Application.
requesting Measure M funding.
So the motion's been made by Kearney and seconded by Cuevas. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would the council please vote?
For item number 13, the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. No items to report tonight.
Okay. Item 14, discussion of the South Bay Council of Governments membership dues increase.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I'm back on here with the regional planner, or ceremonial regional planner. They just hired one this year. I have an email that says so. I want to know, we never used it last year. They didn't have one last year. I had to have this council ask for a refund for the ceremonial regional planner that they didn't have last year. We paid $3,250 for. Again, I don't like this being bundled. I think all these dues and everything should be separate. But they want a dues increase of about $648. $600, 3.3 raise. And I'd like to have more information about the dues calculation, the breakdown of what goes into what into this funneling all these three together. I want to know the breakdown of how much the, again, ceremonial regional planner cost is coming near and doesn't have nothing in here. So I'd like to have this brought back to the next meeting with breakdown of what the regional planner cost. I know that dues increase, and again, if you look on the very back page, we pay more than some of the richest cities around us because I believe it's based on our general fund reserves. But Rolling Hills pays less than we do, states, Rolling Hills, Palos Verdes, and even Hermosa Beach pays less than we do. And I want to know why. If it's based on our general fund reserve, it should be by population, not by money, how much we have in the bank.
Okay.
I have absolutely no issue with discussing it and seeing the breakdown, so we could invite staff over here, but I do want to make a correction. It's based off of, I believe, population and the fund. So it's a mixture. And if you look at cities like Rolling Hills, they don't have, it's a gated community, so they don't actually are able to access a lot of the services that the COG offers. So that was kept in mind. And then you look at other cities like El Segundo, who their population is just very different from night and day because they have so much businesses, commercial areas. So, but no, I have no problem bringing it back. The other thing I do want to ask is maybe we should look at all the other organizations too, because the league did an 8% increase last year, and I'm not quite sure what the breakdown is. Contract cities did a 5%. They're doing another 5%. I'm not sure what the breakdown is. So, I think if we look at one, we should just look at all of them and see, what are the services that each of these organizations offers.
Contract cities, League of Cities, JPIA,
SCAG,
and SCAG, right? Okay.
all the membership dues that the cities do. And then also include into that the conference fees that we pay, because I don't know if the COG is charging, but in previous years, they had their annual event, and it was free for all the public, so anybody could go. They mainly relied on sponsorship, but I know for contract cities, it's budgeted for almost $18,000 for conferences for the council. So it'd be good to look at all of the numbers.
Okay, is there a member of the public that wants to speak on this item?
I just want to say that I'm very in favor of us working with the COG and remaining part of that, because it allows us to keep in touch with the greater community, not just Lawndale itself, but the greater community. And as far as services that we may or may not use, or services that that we wish we could get broken out and pay for individually, I'd like to have the analogy of that I have Spectrum for my TV and for my internet. I am not watching Nickelodeon Kids, but yet I cannot take that out of my service and say, I don't want to pay for that. It's part of the bundled package. And as a whole, I find that bundled package of more value to me than I do to say, I really wish I could rip this one piece out, therefore I want to get rid of this in the entire thing. So I really hope that we will continue to see the value that comes out of the South Bay COG, because they do provide us an immense amount of value. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had one more point I forgot to make, is because of AB 5, the law that basically made everybody an employee. Previously, the executive director, Jackie Backrack, was under a contract. She currently is an employee because of that law. And so there was a cost increase because she also had under that contract other employees that had to become employees of the COG. So that does increase a lot of things, having to pay benefits and salaries and whatnot. So that is one thing to take into consideration.
Okay. We will do that. Okay, so we've discussed some items that we'll bring back this item.
Mr. Mayor, Council, so I can get clearer direction, do you want us to look at all this?
All the cost.
And bring it back to the
Yes.
council, including this item? Or did you want
That's what I'd like to see.
to have Jackie come down and talk about this item as a separate?
If,
Let's have them separate.
let's have Jackie come out and do a presentation. and
Right, then
if-
she can explain some of the, because if I recall, I think the membership got rolled in with the planner. I think
They
that
bundled
was-
it as like Spectrum.
I think it got rolled in, and then I don't remember she did explain last year the cost differential, how it's based on a couple things, so it'd be good to have her come down and explain all that. And then we can bring a separate item look at all memberships, if that's the direction of the council.
Yeah, and then if there's a difference or we have questions from the league or any of the other ones, we could invite them to come over and tell us what's going on too.
Yep. Jeff is always available, he's mentioned that to me.
But if we could
On the
start
league.
with the COG and then,
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll bring this item back, we'll invite Jackie and the COG staff down, and they can explain kind of what's going on, and And some of the changes that I just heard, I guess, because of the new law, AB 5, they can't have contractors. That might explain some of the costs too.
Okay.
Okay. 15.
So that would be the direction of the board.
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Oh, no.
Yours is going to take at least 6 minutes.
Yep.
So we're running a deficit, folks. Okay, council member.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, on February 10th, I attended the seniors' Valentine lunch, and I was very excited because I was asked to dance. And the young lady that asked me said, "Mister, would you please dance with me? Let's not just sit here and worry about the pains that we have. Let's get on that dance floor." I said, "Well, I don't know if my wife would like it, but let's go." So we had a nice little dance, a little waltz, and again, I enjoyed the company of the seniors that were in attendance, and there I did have, I did have a request that, again, going back to Spanish language, they wanted a little more salsa and merengue in the music selection. So I just hope that we can, provide more, a variety of culture and to the first language that our seniors speak. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Councilwoman Suarez.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember. I had a steering committee for the South Bay Cities Council of Government Monday. We're preparing the agenda for next week for the board of directors. I also did get a chance to meet with the co-founder for ESMOA, the museum. Had a very good discussion about the partnership between the city and the museum, one of which they expressed interest in possibly having some type of an arts commission or committee that could help with certain events, because they do like to put on a lot of events. They get fundraising for them. They're happy to even, hire staff to help with some of reducing some of the staff time from the city, if so. So I'd like to look and see if there's interest in that, or possibly having a discussion about just some of the programs that they put on. They said it would be nice to have, or if it's appropriate to have the Parks and Rec Commission do it, just having a discussion about that. Some of them, it might go beyond, a little bit beyond that scope, so just for a future item. But with that, I'll pass it along.
Okay, Councilwoman Cuevas.
All right, on 2-4, I participated on the Metro Budget Telephone Town Hall. They discussed their budget and safety and all that, but they never mentioned our Green Line, whatever new name it has. It didn't get mentioned at all. So it's a good thing that it's not in their budget for 25-26. So I guess we're getting pushed out because they're focusing on the north side of the city of LA County. I also dropped in on 212 at the Hawthorne Boulevard specific plan meeting that the Planning Commission had. It was too long, so I left in the middle of it. I would recommend that when we do another one of these for our residents to come and participate, their feedback it's welcome. There was only 3 people that came in for that event, so we need more of our residents to participate in that. And then one last reminder, tomorrow, 2/19, at the Harold Hoffman Community Center, 2nd floor, 6 p.m., we are having our neighborhood watch meeting. So please come out and participate in that. This will make our city stronger. We need everyone's eyes and ears out there. A todas aquellas personas que estén mirando o estén escuchando, mañana, jueves 19 de febrero a las 6 de la tarde en el Harold Hoffman Community Center, en el segundo piso, va a haber la comunidad de Neighborhood Watch y estamos pidiendo a toda la comunidad que venga a darnos su voz y decirnos en qué podemos ayudar para mejorar nuestra comunidad. Thank you.
De nada.
Okay, I also attended the Valentine's Senior Lunch. Councilman Talavera forgot to mention that he met an individual he went to school with,
Yep.
and he was out there shaking a leg, and I was selling Ben Gay and Icy Hot to all the seniors on the floor. I made $20. And I also attended the Library Trust and Oversight Commission on the 12th. I had a few choice words for the officiating team from the Sheriff Department about some of their drivers they have and the point differential and 7 points within 2 years. I told them they should be a mounted sheriff's deputy instead of driving a car, or a vest, reflective vest, a stop sign to be out crossing guard, because we're paying out a lot of money for individuals that are stupid driving. Sheriff, and all they're doing is repeat themselves, repeaters. And then I attended Saturday the West Basin Facility Tour. This year was very nice. I mean, the speaker is very good. And I asked them when they're going to bring back, I don't know, Robert, you might remember, when we used to, at the end of the tour, we sampled the water.
Oh, yeah.
They'll bring that back hopefully next year, because I like to gross people out when I drink it. But other than that, that's it.
Okay. Thank you for that. I actually attended 2 meetings from the Select City Committee. One was they were engaged in appointing a number of vacancies, including the library commissions, which, you know me, I was on there for a short time. I didn't re-up. You know, it's hard to find members.
You didn't re-up, did you?
No. I was
rolled out, right?
Yeah,
No, I can't.
I was on there for all of a year. You know, because it's hard to find committee members for that board. Well, I think at that time you had to actually be at the location, because it's the boards are divided up amongst but the travel time and they're during the day wasn't conducive. Plus, they wasn't talking about anything anyway. We didn't have any real authority. Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
But I also attended a second meeting, and this is by Zoom. And this was a very important meeting, because at that meeting we appointed your friend, Osmos, from Paramount, Councilwoman Brenda Osmos from Paramount. And she's now the president of the contract cities. She will be. And I did vote for her. I also attended the day after Valentine's, senior lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me you guys were there.
They told me you were the next day.
They did?
He said you forgot what day it was.
Yeah. I thought it was that day. Okay, that's all I have. All righty. Let's see, where are we on our agenda? We don't have any closed session tonight, so we at adjournment time. Okay. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council will be held at 6:30 p.m. on March the 3rd, 2025. In these here chambers, it is now 8:07. We are adjourned.